Hi, masters, friends. Namaste. Good morning or good evening, everyone. This is Lavanya Viswanath from Australia with divine blessings of Dr. Brahmashi Subhash Patriji and Swarnamala Patriji. Let's start our today's session. So, I would like you to welcome back to the Divine Breath YouTube channel, Australia, initiative of Pyramid Spiritual Society movement. So, for the past few weeks, we have started this book called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. So we have seen like two agreements. That is, be impeccable with your words. The second agreement is don't take anything personally. Yeah. Today, the third agreement will be about don't make any assumptions. So our author says that like if we start using these agreements, we can live happily each and every moment. So that's what we all try to achieve in our life, right? So that's what like author says, like every moment being in the present, it's called the enlightenment, nothing much. So let's see what is a third assumption here. Sorry, what is a third agreement here? So don't make any assumptions, right? So we have this so the last two agreements, like the first one is don't be impeccable with your words. So we know that like when we're using our words, we should always be careful what we are using. Because impeccable means without any sin. So our words should not create any black magic or black magic spell on others, rather than it has to be like a magic where it can build confidence or build creativity in you, in yourself, in ourselves, or in others. So if we open our mouth, those words should be like mantras. So that's what our author says. Like make sure that it either boosts your confidence or the others. If you can't, then don't talk. So that's the reason. That's so he always says like authors always says use your words with impeccable. Okay, so the next thing is the second agreement is don't take anything personally. So whatever things happens in our life, masters, we always think that because of me they have behaved like this, because of me, that's the reason. Like we think that whatever the thing which is whatever happening with around us, it's all revolving because of me. So that's the reason we take everything so personally. So our author says try to disconnect, detach from that, taking the things personally. Yeah, so we have seen that. And today's agreement is the third agreement is don't make assumptions. So this agreement also sounds simple, right? But we have to question that are we so don't make assumptions. So is it such an important agreement? Let's see how is it important. So the author says like we always assume things. um Say suppose like when we go outside suddenly, if a friend or like we know someone who is like not very close friend, but we know them. So if by any chance, like when we're going outside and we see them and they see us, and without having any kind of expression on their face, or without smiling, or even without greeting or anything, they just left by saying, and they just ignore you, or like we feel that they have just ignored us and they just left. So what are the things which happens in our mind, masters? Immediately so many emotions would come out, right? So that's what our author says, like we don't, because in our previous class, we thought like we talked about gossiping, which is a big no-no thing to do. So it creates an emotional poison. So the similarly, this assumption. So what happened when the person without the other person which who whom we just saw them, so they did not greet us, or they did not say, I mean, show any kind of emotion on the face, like they did not smile at us. So what will we see? What will we think immediately? Oh my God, like did I do anything else? What, we just go back and say, did we do anything bad, like even the past, or like did with any conversations which we did? So much we start assuming things, right? In this example, so or like we might think like we just look at ourselves and see like, did I dress badly or am I looking badly? Something, so many things, so many kind of thoughts erode in ourselves, thinking, oh my, so many, yeah, it's like we can't even express like within fraction of seconds, so many thoughts in a different kind of variations. It comes, it's our mind throws us so many thoughts. Yeah. So our mind throws us these many thoughts because it's being trained that we assume every day, every whatever in different situations happens around us, we try to assume things. So here our author says that when we assume, we we welcome the problem. So we welcome the problems, and we uh, that's the thing, right? Like when we assume, what are we doing here in this situation, masters? We're opening up for a problem, right? Yeah, we're thinking, okay, we don't even think like, okay, we did not know what the other person is going on. Probably there is some kind of might some kind of a family emergency or something else. We don't know about it. Yeah, we don't need to assume. So later on, what we can do? Okay, fine. We can have that clarity. Our author here simply says that we assume everything and we create a problem in our lives. So when we assume, we because of our emotions, and we create, what is happening in that particular situation, masters? So in this example, so the emotional poison is building up within my body, right? So which is not needed. So our human mind, we have seen that like it creates so much of, it's like a mitote, like it's like a market where like different kinds of, I mean, different people in the market. How do they keep shouting, okay, here and there, and we will not be able to think clearly, right? That's how our mind will work when it's in that kind of any kind of drama, emotional poison when it's building up. We we cannot think in a clear mindset. We don't understand what it's saying, so we assume and we come up with our whatever the, I mean, in we comprehend the things based upon our past, of our experiences, what we have seen in our life. So because if if it is not in our comprehension, we will not even think that, okay, this might be a an option, right? But we don't, because whatever the things we have perceived in this life, so even with that, in our on our belief systems, with our experiences we have built up, so we will be able to even for assuming also, we can't even go outside our box. We just within our limited thing, we start our assumption. So our author here says that even in the relationships, if you see, we make so much of assumptions, right? Like with our partners. So with our partner, so when our author here says like, okay, when you get married, so we think like we come up with so much of assumptions, saying like, oh, okay, so my partner should understand me, or so if I do something like in our previous classes as well, we did mention about this, like, okay, when you're getting married, we think that like, okay, our partner should understand us, and they should probably I'll change him, or so, which is not true. We can't change anyone else unless they want to change about themselves, right? It has to come internally. We can never change anyone other than us. That's what our authors clearly says. Yeah. So we have so much of we like if our husband comes up with a kind of like, suppose he says like, okay, I'm going outside today with my friends, so on Saturday or on this weekend I'll be going out with my friends. But we would have assumed something like, okay, we will plan something, and we will not even communicate it with our partner, saying, okay, let's go out together, we'll have some family time or something. But our partner would come, "Oh, okay, okay, I'm going outside with my friends." But then what we think, okay, my husband even don't even care that he wants to spend some time with me. So I start building up so many assumptions because based on my previous experiences. So what's happening here, Master? So here I'm not communicating properly, right? Without communicating properly, I'm thinking that my husband should understand how well I'm in a position where I can't understand myself. So how will my partner will be able to understand me? So that's what our author says. Like here, so what is happening here? So yeah, yeah. So in this situation where your partner, you wanted to go to with your friend, with his friends. So now here you're opening up for a problem, right? Yeah, because you did not communicate properly. So we're opening up ourselves to a problem here, and we build up on it. And this kind of energy which is creating here, we will not be able to hold the energy so long, so that the energy will burst. So our author says, like, if you have any kind of a any kind of like, if you any kind of emotion building up, you communicate, you ask clearly. You ask, and it's up to them if they want to respond, or if they want to say answer to you, yes or no. They always have a choice, right? So the similarly, if you have any kind of a question, or any kind of um, if someone asks you, you also can respond similarly. You don't need to always say yes. If you want to say yes, we have a choice. You can say yes. Otherwise, you also have a choice to say no. So always be clear, ask questions, and communicate properly in this generation, masters. So mostly, we end up assuming, and we don't even think that we are assuming. um, so the other day, like I've seen that, like, I was thinking that with my child, I was thinking that, okay, why is he getting so much of anger? So I did not know, but I was assuming that he got anger because he did not win in whatever the debate or something he was participating. But I did not understand, I was just assuming that, oh my God, he's so much leaned towards winning. And then, so then I thought, like, okay, what am I doing? I'm assuming that I want to find a solution for it. Okay, wait a minute. Did I understand, especially? Did I communicate with him? Did I sit with my child and did I ask? Rather than I'm just assuming that, okay, he's more, I'm also coming up with my thinking, with my opinions, right? We are so good at coming to a conclusion. We want a solution instead of understanding what's the root cause, right? So here, so I was just wondering. Then suddenly I realized that we have to we have to come with a root cause. So I've just had a little bit of discussion with my child. Then I realized that no, like there was a little bit of unfair happened. So that's the reason, like he said, like, I'm very sporty, you know that. I can take both wins and losing as well. I'm all right. But the thing is, like, there it was unfair was happened, that the judges were unfair, because it has not to be happen. Then when he tried to uh, explain me, then I understood, oh, okay. But see, in my assumption, I've 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 thought like my son is goal oriented and he's unable to take the way, take uh the loss, or like if he loses something, he's unable to take. No, that's not the thing. He said like he was so clear about like I assumed instead of assuming. So when with the assumption, what did I end up with? I assumed I wanted a solution. So when I communicated with my child, so it's like you go to the root cause, why it has happened, and then with the communication, I ask what is it. So we ask to ask. So then will be able to we'll be able to clarify what is the problem. This is, yes, it's a simple uh, what do you say, like simple conversations. Yeah, yes, there'll be more complex conversations, masters, and we adults are so much like we end up thinking like we know everything, and so that's the reason we complex whatever we come across the conversations. It's not easy conversations, right? So it's not easy, but there's always a first step to sit and talk. So in any relationships, yes, our partners would have so much of clarity. And though we might not have that clarity, we should always take a step and at least sit and talk. Um, and that's how we should able to communicate instead of assuming. If you have any kind of emotion which is building up, just step back and but make sure what's the body language we are using there. Is it coming with the love based or is it coming with the fear based? If you're coming with the fear based, so it also, we know the fear, it has so many different facets like anger, jealousy, and kind of like, I know everything, with like everything. So it's like these are all the branches or the facets of the fear. So make sure you're coming up when you're talking of your body language. The other day in one of the conversations, I heard that like about this root cause and also about the body conversation. That the child, I heard that like even if they are, the child is able to observe your the body language. We feel like okay when we are talking that okay in if any kind of conversation is happening, uh, in that example the parent gave me an example that like okay, if the child comes and shows she is 5 years old, so if she shows to her mother whatever she does, like okay, Amma, how is it? And if your mother says, she always say okay, it's good, and it's good. And then when the child shows up something else which the mother she really likes, and she said like, oh wow, it's so beautiful, it's so good. So the way the appreciation is also different. So the way we tend to say like okay, we want to show the love and we say like it's good, it's good. So the child was able to find the difference. Okay, when mother seriously likes it genuinely, she the way she conveys it, it's a different way. See, the body language matters, masters. Even the way the facial expressions and the way we show. So when we are full with love, the expressions are completely different. I will not even um able to show that. So yes, try. Let's try to start with simple. Even if you want to say something, let's say if we are able to express it with love. If not, let's take some time. That we don't need. We have time. The time. So we have lots and lots of time. Let's not just blabber something and then feel sorry about what has happened. Let's take step back and take some time instead of victimizing ourselves and going again back into the guilt trap. Like stop and make sure like we don't uh, uh, make sure that we are impeccable with our words, right? So with this agreement as masters, don't make any assumptions when you're thinking that. Always ask, am I assuming? I'm assuming. If you assume you want to come to a solution, master, that's a quick way to check yourself. I'm assuming. So you assume like you want what you're assuming. You are assuming so that like you can immediately quickly fix the quick fix by giving a solution. Okay, this might be the thing. So that's the reason you always end up coming for solution rather than going to the root cause. What's the root cause? If you want to go to the root cause, the thing is you need to sit and ask, either it might be a partner or it might be your friend, your sibling, or whoever it is, no matter which kind of relationship you are in. So you need to sit and ask, spend some time. Yes, if they don't want to talk, that's all right. You don't need to take that as well personally. We have discussed that in our previous session, that don't take anything personally also, right? It so many things would have been happening with the other person in their emotions. They might not, okay, if they're not ready to share, let's give that the space what they want. Yes, and slowly when we start building, like one day, like nothing, any kind of relationship will not be able to mend in one particular conversation or a dialect, right? It will take time. That's all right. We have lots and lots of time. Let's choose it. We'll take one step ahead, one step at a time, instead of rushing it. So the third agreement is, don't make assumptions. So this is a third agreement, and the next agreement will be the fourth. These are the four agreements, masters. So let's in our chair, when we take class to our children, so we always say that make sure you all this kind of knowledge, that's gyan, which is coming from our books, we are sharing, we are listening to so many different people. So make sure, like, if whatever things you like, put that onto your boards, wherever you're working, or wherever, like, it might be in your kitchen or in your desk, or in your work, in your at your home, you have your workspace. Make sure you put that affirmations, master, so that, like, it's like quick reminder. Like, we know, like, we need lots and lots of awareness to remember all these things which are happening, which are when a situation arises, masters, we will be in that chaotic situation, and will not be able to remember all this knowledge, all this information, right? So it's best to put that onto our fridge, or onto your wherever it is where you can look at it, so it acts like a reminder. So author says, like, when you try to implement this, the first three agreements says, like, being impeccable with your words and don't take anything personally. The third one is, just now we saw, don't make any assumptions. So these three agreements, so it will create us, it will make us to live happily. So that's the reason we always feel like, why aren't we feel happy always, right? No matter what happens outside. Yeah, so the situation arises externally, right? So externally, like the things, the people, objects, whatever experience so this gives our experiences, like, right? Situations, and yeah, so whatever the things which are happening apart from us, like externally, from people, objects, situations, whatever it is, so how we deal with it. So are we happy every a minute? So when we are happy, what is happening, masters? We are living in the present moment. We are not dwelling either in the past or in the future. So in the present moment, when you are in the present moment, so that is what the real enlightenment is, being in the present moment every minute. So that's what our great masters who are enlightened, they would say, what is enlightenment? So we have seen in the past, in our previous sessions, where Prasanna Medishetty Garu where she shared, like, the power of now, being in the present. That's what that the author, he emphasized on. Being in the present moment is nothing but enlightenment. Yeah. So now, coming to the fourth agreement, masters, this will be our last agreement. So that is, always do your best. So, so this is just one more agreement, but this agreement it's like deeply it's ingrained habits. Like this fourth agreement is just combining the action of the first three. So so always do your best. So the author says like under any circumstances, so always do your best. Not more. You don't need to do more, or you don't need to do less. So so what best? So suppose like always do your best means you always do your best means here always do your best means always keep doing your action. That's what our author says here. Always do your actions. So when we are doing your actions means you're not you're not in the past or not in the future. So you're doing your action. So suppose if I'm sick, so when I'm sick I can do with my so my when I'm healthy, when my best will be a different thing, right? When I'm best, my mind will have so much of clarity, and my body will have so much of energy to do the same thing. Suppose I'm saying the class, for example, the same session. So if I'm having, so I'm able to do it with my best, what I'm able to do, right? So suppose if I'm sick, I'm down with flu, I'm not able to, but even that time, I'm able to put my effort to do this session. So I will be doing my session. So what I'm doing there, even when I'm sick, I'm trying to do a session. So just take two scenarios here. So that time, so whatever the best is, I'm doing my best. I'm taking my action by coming up to the session, by attending to the session and able to express or share or sitting in our meditation session and doing our best. So there, my best is different. And here, when I'm healthy, when my mind is in so clarity early in the morning, my best is different. But you do not need to compare. That's what the author says. So the author says here is when you're best means you're taking your action. You're taking your action means it varies. So when you're sad, it vary. But when you're sad, you can't say like, okay, many things happen in our life, in our day to day, at work or at family. Say, suppose something happened at my at in my relationships, or somehow like I had some conflict with my husband because of three different agreements which I was not able to follow. Right? Okay, that's okay. So I'm sad now. So at this moment, I can't say like I can't do my office work. I'm sad. I can't do attend this meeting, or I can't do my work. So author says whatever the mood you are in, you try to put the work in action. It has to go through. So you can't say like because of this I can't do, because of you can't keep giving reasons that you can't do your best. So author says here say he says that always do your best, and also don't try too hard to do more than your best, because when you try to do more, what happens, masters? The other day I was reading one article and there says like the startups, so most startups they say like they put most of the efforts initially, so that they want to have that imprint right in the market wherever they want. So they put so much of effort in when building the startups, and most of the startup companies will fail after an year or so. It will fail. The reason, because they put so much of effort, they'll not be able to keep going with that effort. And that's the reason the startups fails. Many startups are failing because of that reason. Here, what are we doing? They're putting so much of effort rather than what is the best we can do. So we're going out and we are using all the resources, and we're training our resources, and we're stressing ourselves, and at the end we're just falling immediately, so that it's collapsing. So that's not the best, right? So because we do not have we even a body, it has a rhythm. Yeah, so we know that parasympathetic nerves and sympathetic nerves. So even when we are most of the time our parasympathetic nerve kicks in, and it do its stuff, like when you are relaxing, resting, it's like digestion, all other things that happens. And sympathetic nerves, like when we are in kind of threat, like when this sympathetic nerve, it has come like because like when we are in during our initial phases of our life, like when our human evolution was evolving. So that time when we used to live in cages, and that so our survival was a biggest thing, right? So we need to survive. So our threat, it always like a tiger, like we need to survive from those kind of threats. So that the sympathetic nerve kicks in, and we will be able to escape from that danger. So now there are no tigers or lions nowhere, but our tigers are like our meetings, or we feel like that kind of threat which kicks in, and the sympathetic nerve kicks in. So see, like when our sympathetic nerve kicks in, what happens is our cortisol level rises up, and we always have that kind of anxiety, fear. And now most of the diseases what we see is like it's all mind created diseases. That's what our Patriji always used to say. It's like there's a name, masters, but I'm unable to recall that. So it's like it's all because of your mind, our illusion of our mind, and we treat that our meetings are like threats. Like it's not that kind of, you're not in that survival. It's not like if you're not going to, if you're not able to perform, like what do you think, like yeah, it's okay if you do your best, and if it's okay if it did not turn up the way you thought, that's all right. You did your best, and the next time we will be able to improve on it, right? But no, we don't think that way. We feel like that's a life or death situation kind of thing. So now, so everything whatever happening, the diseases nowadays, whatever we see, it's all because of our mind. So and we take it too much, that we always be in that fear, anxiety. So our body is not capable of handling, if it can't have that sympathetic nerve, that system kick in and be always your cortisol level up. It can't handle, a body can't handle that kind of situation, masters. So that's the reason these meditations nowadays, why are we focusing more? Because in this generation, though the threat is not outside, we feel each conversation, we feel it as a threat, because we take it so much that the emotional poison, that is our cortisol levels, are building up so much that we are in that situation of stress, anxiety. So we need to calm down. So we need to calm down, and that's the reason we don't, you do your best in whatever your way. How can we do our best? By taking action instead of thinking, keep thinking, oh my God, today I'm dull. I'm so sad today. I can't do any work. I'll just go and watch a movie and sit watch, and just that's it. We end up, what is happening, masters? Are we taking any action here? No, I'm not saying like you can't take rest at all. Yes, you can take rest, but postponing it is also a procrastinating method, right? When you're watching, so whenever you're sad, so you binge watch for say some couple of hours. So after that, how are we feeling? If we just check on ourselves, we all check, we all do all these things. It's just like our author is saying here, so just keep repeating all this stuff, masters. I know you all know, and you're all in this path, and we all know that we are doing it. So the author here says we do not have a choice of not taking an action. We have to do an action irrespective of however you feel. So in any circumstances in your life, you do your best by taking the action. So the masters, so there is an example what our author says here, like the a person, he goes to a master and he says, okay master, I want to transcend myself. So how long do you think, if I meditate 4 hours a day, how long will I need, like say like, okay, you want to use the nowadays, the word is enlightenment, right? Let's take this word as, okay, if I want to get enlightenment, how long do you want to meditate? Say if I meditate for 4 hours, how long? He says, like the master says, if you meditate for 4 hours, you will say enlighten in another 10 years, 10 years. Then the student thinks, oh, if I meditate, so our mind is quick, right? Logic, kicks in, and we think, okay, oh, if I take 4 years, then if I can, sorry, if I do 4 hours of meditation, and if I be able to enlighten in 10 years, master, if I, then he comes and asks again question to the master, says, okay, master, if I meditate for 8 hours, so how long will I be able to enlighten? So the author says, sorry, the master says that, okay, if you meditate for 8 hours, you will enlighten in 20 years. Then our student says, it's not the logic, right? Like if it has to reduce. So then the other master asks, oh, okay. The student will have that confusion. Ah, how does it? It's not coming up. The master replies, see, you are not here to sacrifice your joy, your happiness by not doing the other actions which you're supposed to do. So as a mother, I have to do my actions. So I can't go and sit and say, I can't sit in meditation and say, like, okay, child, I'm sitting for meditation, so I'll not be able to cook or feed for you, or like, I can't say, like, I don't want to take these responsibilities. So what I'm doing here is like I'm escaping it, right? So the master says you have to enjoy your each and every responsibility by taking your action, so that you can live and love your life and be happy. So when you're taking action, you're doing your best. So the author says, yes, the last three agreements. So be impeccable with your words when you do your best, what you're doing, masters here. So you're taking your action by making sure that you are always using your words impeccably. Yeah, that is without creating any kind of sin. And the second thing is, be don't take anything personally. So when I'm putting it in action, what am I doing? So if someone says something, I feel like, okay, it's nothing about me, it's from their perspective. And so I'm taking the action here, detaching myself, right? The third thing, when you're what is that, like, don't take assumptions, right? Don't make assumptions. So what am I telling? Okay, sit and ask. So what I'm doing here, taking an action here, that I'm asking, making sure that I'm taking an action of taking out time, sitting with any kind of relationship, whatever the person, what kind of relationship, whatever it matters, and I'm asking, this is what I'm feeling. So is that right? Or like, but making sure, like, your body language, how we are using it, right? So in all these three agreements, the fourth agreement is embedded in it, right? Embedded in it. So that's what our author says here. So when you follow these four agreements, means you are creating your life, heavenly life here. You don't need to, like, up our scriptures and everyone. We think that it's hell is there. No, no. Sorry, you are always already living in hell. Let's make sure that we live in heaven by making every moment we can live happily, and we'll be able to enjoy each and every moment in our life. So this is all masters of the four agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. So hope you had little any takeaway, masters. Okay, so I'll open up the forum for any kind of your feedback, or any kind of if you want to, and either it's however you fill a session, or I'll wait for 1 or 2 minutes, masters, for that. So I'll take this opportunity to emphasize on meditation, masters. So you know that meditation, so when we want to cultivate all these habits, cultivate, we know that breaking any kind of belief system takes lots and lots of effort. So the meditation will give us that energy, that confidence, and not only that, it gives that awareness when we are in any kind of situation. Our meditation gives that capability. We already have that, and um, that we already have that capacity. What we have that, but we lack of that awareness. We are drowning in that situations, right, master? So the meditation will help us to be in that awareness state. So with that, I think, please make sure you are in meditation. You always do meditation, masters, and take action, as our author mentioned. And with that, I think, okay, thank you, Jaya ma'am, and thank you, Chandana, and thank you all, masters, for joining today. So, sort of from the next couple of weeks, I think we'll see how it goes. Either meditation, or like if anyone want to share your sessions, your information, please be free, and you can take the sessions and you can start it, masters. Okay. With that, I will say happy weekend, masters. Enjoy your day, and see you all next week at the same time. Until then.